Hello and welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today for our Next Generation Meeting Spaces webinar. Just a couple of housekeeping notes before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the Q&A window. We'll answer all questions during the Q&A portion at the end of the webinar. This presentation is being recorded and will be available on demand on our website after the completion of the webinar. You'll also receive a direct link to view the recording once the webinar is over. So with that, we will get started. I just wanted to start with a brief introduction. My name is Matt Parmet, and I'm the Vice President of Operations at Parmatech. I've been in a full-time role with the company for just over 5 years, right after I graduated from Drexel University with a degree in Information Systems. A little bit of background on Parmatech. Parmatech was founded in 1991, the business model of selling remanufactured toner cartridges for laser printers. And later, over the years, we've expanded into a break-fix service provider. Today, Parmatech is a certified women and minority-owned enterprise and has evolved into a document management solutions provider. We have many partnerships in place, including ViewSonic, with whom we've been a partner for over 2 years, and we'll focus a little bit of our webinar on that relationship. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Becca, who's going to begin to take us through our content this morning, and I will be back with you in a little bit. Take it away, Becca.
Thanks, Matt. So as Matt said, my name is Becca Parmet, and I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing at Parmatech. I joined the company in this role a little over a year ago, right after I graduated with my MBA from Drexel University. So let's begin and take a look at what we'll be covering today. So first, we'll start with a look at traditional meeting spaces. Then we'll dive into what is a next generation meeting space and what are the benefits, the different types of meeting spaces associated with next generation meeting spaces, and then we'll dive into the technology involved in these types of meeting spaces. Lastly, we'll wrap it up with a Q&A. So traditional meeting spaces. Imagine a conference room. What comes to mind? If you're like me, you pictured a large room dominated by a long table, seating for 10 or more participants, the decor serious if not somber. A whiteboard more than likely graced the front of the room. Unfortunately, workers can waste a lot of time setting up meeting technology, including connecting presenters and their devices and content, as well as connecting remote participants. In fact, in the typical conference room, setting up video conferencing wastes up to 10 minutes of each meeting. You then lose time mid-meeting by passing control over to other meeting presenters, changing presentation platforms, looking for the right dongle, waiting for inputs to connect, and accessing content. Many of the whys of meeting spaces remain the same, such as brainstorming, training, strategy development, etc., maybe annual meetings, weekly meetings for sales, things like that. However, the where and the how of meetings are undergoing a significant shift. This, in turn, is having a major impact on companies' conference room strategies. So this leads us into our topic today, next generation meeting spaces. So what is a next generation meeting space? There is no one-size-fits-all. It's a type of space that facilitates efficient, productive meetings, enables instantaneous collaboration, and are versatile spaces for all occasions. So you have a selection of meeting spaces that meet the needs of different teams and different workers, as well as the needs of clients, partners, and other visitors. So what are the benefits? It says that about 10 minutes of each meeting is lost just in setup time. Next generation meeting spaces allow for setup that enables on-time meetings. Simple equipment launches that work every time without requiring you to go get IT if something is not working or is not connecting properly. Quick device connections for presenters who are responsible for calling the meeting to order. Ready to access network, browser, and cloud-based resources. So this expedites the preparation for presenters, and straightforward methods for remote participants to join, meaning that meetings get off on a timely start and that everyone is able to join without any error. Interactive during rich meeting experiences that accommodate a wide range of collaboration styles. So interactive whiteboarding that allows presenters and participants to annotate directly on the screen. Whether in-person, virtual, or hybrid type of meeting, all presenters and participants can not only see what's being shown on the screen, but they themselves can contribute as well. You have high-quality video, web, and audio conferencing options that give all participants the flexibility to choose the best format. Wireless casting, multicasting, and throwing enable seamless change of meeting controls. So we've all had those meetings when, you know, it's time to change the presenter and someone's having trouble connecting either their screen or is having trouble showing their screen, or participants can't see what's been connected. Next generation meeting spaces allow for the seamless change of meeting control. And flexibility to access unplanned content. You know, sometimes we move off topic slightly during our presentations, and we either need to access a file that we weren't anticipating to, or perhaps we need to navigate to a web browser to bring up a website or a web page. With next generation meeting spaces, there's no downtime or IT intervention needed for that access. And after, meeting capture and security. So you can reliably save and record the video, audio, and additionally any annotations that were made directly to the screen during the presentation. This way you're able to capture all meeting content accurately. So for example, if you have somebody that was not able to participate in the meeting live, everything that happened during the meeting can be saved and recorded, and therefore they can watch at a later time. Enterprise level hardware and software security that protects content access. This helps to ensure that, especially if you're doing some type of virtual meeting where participants are joining online, you can be sure that nobody is accessing your content that you don't want them to access, so people can't, you don't have to be worried about, especially if there's company sensitive information being shared, that because it's online, that it could fall into the wrong hands. And then easy transition between meetings. When one meeting ends, there is no downtime involved before new meeting can begin. So if you have a day of meetings where the same room is being used for multiple different meetings, easy transition. The first meeting ends, the next group of people can come in and start their meeting instantly. So types of meeting spaces. Now that we've kind of discussed what is a next generation meeting space and what the benefits are, so what are the types? So conference rooms, you know, obviously traditional conference rooms we're all very much used to, but conference rooms are now evolving into next generation meeting spaces. So medium-sized spaces that seat up to 10 participants account for 44% of all conference rooms. Large rooms and spaces holding 10 plus people comprise about 30% of all conference rooms. And lastly, small spaces that seat up to 4 account for 26% of all meeting spaces. So huddle room / spaces. So going back to that 26% of small spaces we just discussed, essentially this is what a huddle space is. It is a type of conference room. So how are huddle spaces different than the traditional conference room? Well, first, they are small and intimate, so they typically accommodate groups of 2 to 5 people. They're very informal. They allow employees to quickly meet, and there's also freedom from scheduling, meaning if impromptu meetings arise or there is a need to meet informally, this is a great space where you can just use the room for ad hoc conversation. It's not necessarily something you need to schedule out in your day. They're very versatile, as I say, available as needed to support any business objectives. And they're all about spontaneous collaboration, meaning, you know, great for brainstorming sessions or just to meet on certain topics, working lunch meetings, things like that. They are great for the flow of collaboration. So what types of things will we use a huddle room for? project team meetings, client meetings, brainstorming sessions, manager-employee one-on-ones, small group presentations, workspace for traveling remote employees. So yes, as I said, it's a great space for not only impromptu meetings, but can also facilitate many other interactions. If you have remote or traveling employees, you have multiple offices, people visiting from out of town, it can serve as a great workspace for them while they are in your office, so that they have a place to work and they don't feel that they're kind of creeping in on someone else's workspace. Small group presentations and project team meetings, things like brainstorming sessions, and again, manager-employee one-on-ones. It's just a great space for small, intimate collaboration. So cost containment initiatives are often an ubiquitous result of ongoing financial pressures. Many companies continually seek ways to contain costs and maximize efficiency. And for many, the use of space has become a focal point of these financial pressures. Cubicles have been left vacant by telecommuting employees, and this first led to a rise in what's called hot desking. Next came an even stronger embrace of the open floor plan. With things like fluid seating, the open plan maximizes existing space in the office while minimizing costs. Combined with these strategies, mobility-powered flexible work arrangements, such as huddle spaces, enable companies to reduce their real estate footprint to contain costs and also maximize efficiency. So now that we've covered the basics of what a next generation meeting space is, the benefits and the different types of spaces, I'm going to pass it over to Matt so we can dive into the heart of the meeting space, the technology.
Thanks, Becca. So like Becca said, we're going to dive into now the technology that comprises a next generation meeting space. And just like a lot of technology out there today, we're going to take kind of a modular approach, because there's so many different solutions and technologies out there that you want to be able to pick and choose what works for you and customize the solution that's going to work for your particular environment. And the key is just getting all the technologies to work with each other. So with that, we're going to start with what is the most important part of any technical solution in a conference room, which is the display that you are going to be using. So Parmatech really likes the ViewSonic interactive displays, the ViewSonic viewboard specifically. So that's going to allow a touch interface where anybody that's meeting can utilize digital whiteboarding and annotation on a 4K display. So even if you were just going to show like a video or something like that, you're getting the state-of-the-art display there, but it's also adding capabilities where you can interact at a really intuitive level with that. So along with the digital whiteboarding and annotation capabilities, you also have enterprise-level security. So you don't have to worry about the content that you're displaying on there, because it could be anything from an informal discussion to a strategic discussion that's going on that really needs to be kept within the walls of that conference room. You don't have to worry that the content on there is going to leak out of the organization. You have a cloud-based management as well. So if you have multiple rooms throughout your organization, it doesn't matter what room you're using, your content will follow you, and you have that cloud level security as well, so you don't have to worry about breaches or anything like that. Another great feature and benefit of this technology is the ability to cast. So it does not matter if somebody has a mobile device, a laptop that they want to hardwire, or a laptop that they want to cast to wirelessly. No matter what the device is, you have the ability to easily get that content right onto the screen for everybody to see. So with that, you have, like I said, support for basically any type of device that it needs to have, that, whether it's a Chromebook, whether it's an Apple iPhone, an Android device, Windows, Mac, it really doesn't matter. Anything will work with the solution. And we also realize that touch is not for everybody, so you're not necessarily going to utilize the touch screen. There are non-touch versions of this available, whether through ViewSonic or some of our other display partners such as LG. There's always going to be a display that'll work best for your needs. So just to go into some of the other options for these displays, you have the optional slot-in PC. One of the uses for this would be Intel Unite, so you actually have a vPro processor on that that'll allow you to run the Intel Unite solution. If you see in the graphic there, you have the 4 screens being cast there all at one time. And because this is a Windows 10 PC as well, whether it's Intel Unite or Zoom or GoToMeeting, any kind of conferencing solution that you want to run or any kind of application, you can run directly off the display without having to run any cabling to an external desktop or any servers or anything like that. It makes it a completely standalone Windows-based solution. Some of the other features that we're going to look at here as far as accessories go are just that it's got multiple USB ports for expandability. So, I mean, whether you want to put in a camera, as we'll discuss later, or any kind of other USB interface, that it'll connect directly into the panel itself. No need for any kind of third-party adapters or anything like that. It'll go directly in. Also, we have multiple mounting options that are available. So as we discussed, versatility in meetings is really important, to the point where you can actually have the meeting room move. So there are some mobile stands available so that you can bring the conference room to you if you want it to be a truly mobile solution. It would just be the power cord that needed to be plugged into the wall, and other than that, the solution will go. But there's a mounting solution for every need, and if you just have a discussion with us, we could figure out what the needs for you would warrant. So as I brought up a little bit there, one of the big accessories that most people want to use with one of these displays, especially in the conference room, would be a conference camera. So there are cameras that will really fit any kind of need or budget, whether you need something that's going to pan like tilt and zoom, or just a fixed camera. We have a wide array from different vendors that we could recommend based off your needs. And you might ask, like, why would I need a camera in there? Nowadays, there are so many meetings that are done remotely that you want to bring that personal look or that feel of an in-person meeting, but make it more cost-effective, eliminate travel. And with the webcams that are available, you can get really high-resolution video where you're going to be able to pick up on facial expressions and bring some of that intimacy back to meetings that has kind of been lost over the past few years. And these are extremely easy to install. For the most part, they're plug-and-play solutions, but they also can be managed over a network, and so they're easy to install, configure, and manage. So the next portion of this would be audio. So we've all had that experience where you're in a meeting and you start to hear crackling, or if somebody's walking away from the phone that they're using, you start to lose them. So what we found is the Nareva audio conferencing system, which is a speaker and microphone bar, is an incredibly affordable solution for how powerful it is. Excuse me. So the Nareva utilizes microphone mist technology to create essentially hundreds of virtual microphones within the room that is using a sound pickup point. So it doesn't matter if you're facing the corner and the opposite end of the room, talking into the wall, it's going to sound to the people on the other end like you're right in front of the microphone. They'll have no idea where you are. You're going to get that crisp audio quality no matter where you are. And it's a very budget-friendly solution based off how robust it is. So generally, you would see in the past, you have to get a full audio installation where you're running microphones into the ceiling tiles, and you're going to need professional services to get that set up. And if anything does go wrong, it's going to be expensive to troubleshoot. This is a truly plug-and-play solution where it's just an Ethernet cable that's going to get it up and running, a simple wall mount, and you're up and running. And it's very, very easy to move forward, and you're going to get that quality that you expect for the price point that's well below what you would expect in the past. So one other technology that we want to touch on is the Solstice solution. So Solstice comes into play when you're in an extremely heavy wireless casting environment. So if the bulk of your meetings are from personal devices that need to be shared, Solstice enables you to have basically unlimited 4K wireless streaming with an unlimited amount of content being displayed to these boards, and it's very easy to use. So we see these a lot in huddle spaces where it really is informal. I need to throw a picture up from my phone. I'm going to throw these files. I need to share this screen. As you can see on the display there, there's 5 different share posts going on at once, and you can stack them on top of each other. It's a very intuitive and powerful solution. You could also annotate right on top of those too, so if you have a touch display, somebody can go up and draw directly on top of what's being shared, but it's all being driven from the personal devices, and then you have it all being shown on the one display as well as on everybody's personal device at the same time. And this is also very versatile in that you can install the solution directly onto a Windows device, or as you see the picture there, you can get the hardware solution, which is the Solstice Pod, and it'll run independently of any other hardware. You could just plug it right into whatever display you decide to use, and you're up and running. Lastly, we'll look at projector solutions. So you've seen these a lot in the past, as they are the true, like, lowest cost per square inch, if you will, of display. So see these a lot in much larger rooms where you need 100+ inch display. It's just not going to be cost effective to do that with a TV or a flat panel. Whereas with a projector, you have so many different options where you can still get a very high resolution, extremely large screen. So the image size and the viewing angle are incredible, while the profile of the device itself is very small. So you're gonna save on space while you're also like maximizing the space within your room. And now there's been a lot of advances in projectors where they can be interactive themselves. So you can still utilize that touch content without having to invest in an interactive flat panel if that fits your needs a little bit better. So with that, we're gonna move on to questions. If anybody has any, please just type them into the chat window, and Becca will read them out, and I'll give you my best answer I can.
All right, thanks, Matt. So as Matt said, if you have any questions, please submit them through the chat window. We kind of have a little bit that have come in during the presentation, so I'll start with those. So we had a question of what type of installation is required if I'm interested in integrating all these technologies into my meeting space.
Okay, so Harmatech does provide installation services, whether you want just like a wall mount of one of these displays or if you're looking at full integration. We can certainly price that out on a case-by-case basis of what exactly you need. But most of these solutions that we did, or all these solutions that we showed, are very simple. So we would also be happy to just provide you instructions if you want to have your own team do it, or we could walk you through it remotely. So they're all very intuitive and simple installations, especially compared to what would be involved in an AV integration if you look back just only a couple of years. Also, we do provide training on these. So any solution that we showed here, we're fully certified to train on as well. So we can enable your team to be in the best position to succeed once you do move forward with a purchase like this, and we're never going to leave you hanging. So we have the ability to record trainings for you so you can access them on demand later. We do a combination of on-site as well as remote training utilizing Zoom. So we're going to make sure that you get up and running and install.
Okay, we have another question, which is, do I need to invest into everything at once? So I'm going to guess that that kind of means in order to benefit from this next generation meeting space, would they need to kind of invest in everything that we've talked about today in order for that to work for them?
No, absolutely not. So this could be, you could take a very modular approach to this, starting with one piece, and especially if you have already invested in other technology and you don't want to abandon it, everything is very modular, so you can just add as you go. It does help to have kind of a vision of where you want to get to, and we can help you develop that. See what your vision is and what is the most cost-effective way to get you there, even if it is on a step-by-step basis. And also, you could just see, like, for instance, if you got one of the ViewSonic interactive flat panels and wanted to see how the onboard solutions work, it's from a casting standpoint, maybe you can see how that works for you. And then if you want something a little bit more robust, say the Solstice pod, you could always add that later. There's no harm in just taking it on a step-by-step and getting comfortable with it.
We have another question. What type of warranty do the panels you showed come with?
So the standard warranty for the ViewSonic panels is going to be a 3-year on-site warranty. We have options to raise that to as long as 7 years. So we would just have to get an idea of what kind of warranty you're looking for, and we can make that happen for you.
Great. And then I have 2 questions here that are kind of on the same topic, so I'll just read them both to you, and I think you can kind of answer them together. One is, will the Solstice work with my 4K Samsung TV? And the other is, isn't the Solstice pod redundant to have if you get the panel with casting capability?
So that's a great question. So I'll start with the part about the Samsung TV. So the answer is yes, excuse me, the Solstice pod will work with any display. So if you just have a 4K Samsung TV, you can plug that right in via HDMI and you'll be up and running. You won't have any touch capabilities unless your TV was touch, which I don't think that it would be. So, but everything else would work with that, so you would have the ability to cast directly to that TV. And then as far as the redundancy question, so the casting that's built into the ViewSonic is more of a starter level, so you can only display like one screen at a time for the onboard solution there. I believe it will be going up to 4, hopefully soon. If you have the slot-in PC, that solution will support up to 4 devices at one time. But if you're going to be very, very casting heavy, the Solstice adds more functionality to that. So it just really depends on how much you anticipate using it, how many things you need to show on screen at once, how many users can be connected at a time. And if you're really casting heavy, then we would let you know when the point is that the Solstice is to be more robust for you, and it makes sense. But for a lot of people, the onboard casting will suffice just perfectly fine.
Great. Well, we are coming up on our half-hour mark. So if there are any more questions, please feel free to email them to either myself or Matt. We'll put our emails up at the end of the webinar, and we will definitely get back to you with questions or answers to your questions.
All right, so if you would like to reach out to us to have a free consultation on what your conferencing needs will be, through the end of the quarter, June 30th, we have some special pricing discounts that we can provide to you if you were to move forward with a solution. So just reach out and we'll start a conversation. We'll go through what it is that you need, what you want, and we will take it from there. And thanks again for joining us today. You'll see our contact information there, as well as how to connect with us on social media. We have a couple different Twitter accounts there that you can follow us on. You'll get some promotional information, sometimes occasional giveaways, and just some relevant content about the industry. So we'd really appreciate a follow if you could do that there. And if you subscribe to our newsletters and our mailing list, there will be information coming out about future webinars and any other events and information that we think would be relevant for you to know. So appreciate you staying connected with us, and we look forward to speaking with you soon in the future. Have a great day, everybody.